Welcome back to the Eye on College Basketball Podcast on CBS Sports Network. Let's spend some time on the Big East. That's where St. John's sits alone atop the league standings, 16-3 overall, 7-1 in the Big East. Norlander, are the Johnnies about to win their first Big East title in the regular season since 1992? First off, did you realize it's been 1992? 1992? I was a freshman in high school in 1992. Now look at me. I am bald with 3 kids and high cholesterol. I think 1992 was a long time ago, man. A lot of stuff's changed over the years.
There's a lot going on there. One, I feel like 92 was your freshman year of college and not high school. Someone fact check that too. I didn't realize you were battling a cholesterol issue. I
don't think I'm battling it. It's just, my doctor says you should try to look at this a little bit. And I'm like, Doc, I'm doing the best I can.
Are you though? Are you?
Probably not.
Okay. All right.
I don't want you to be concerned. There's no reason to be concerned. Okay. I don't want you to be concerned. I'm okay. But
you mixed it in. You mixed it in the top off of the third segment here. I got some cholesterol issues. The last time St. John's did this, okay. I didn't even know what cholesterol meant.
I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm fine. Okay. I'm just saying that in 1992, my doctor wasn't talking to me about cholesterol, but now he just wants to talk to me about cholesterol. 92 was a long time ago. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Hypertension updates on the pod. What do you want from me? I did not think it was that long either. If you had trivia timed me, I probably would have. Honestly, I might have said like 98 or so, 99. Shouts to Eric Barkley. St. John's did win the Big East tournament in 2000, but last regular season championship is 92. The last time St. John's won a standalone Big East regular season championship was 85. And right now, St. John's is atop the Big East ledger on January 21st. It has not gotten this deep into January, being in first place in the Big East since 1986. Rick Patino is doing the kinds of things that made his hiring such a lauded, celebrated thing, because this was always going to be a possibility. It was never going to be a guarantee, but getting to a point where you're 16-3 and you're in the mix in the Big East, it's cool to see this come to pass. I don't think they're going to win I don't think they're going to win the Big East. I would still give the edge to Marquette in that regard. And listen, the Big East is such an entertaining league with all sorts of unpredictable kind of results. I don't put it past UConn to figure out a way to win the league or to have teams share first place and the Huskies being there. So I would still say no, but they will be top 3, which I did have them in the preseason. I had UConn, then Marquette, then St. John's, projected 1, 2, 3 in that order in the Big East. I think that's how it's going to wind up playing out there. I'll note that the way they are doing this is what's interesting to me, because they brought in Kaderi Richmond and Davon Smith in the transfer portal. And Richmond statistically was among the 10 most accomplished players, maybe really among the 5 most accomplished players in the sport last season at Seton Hall. He has not been that at St. John's. I thought that he would truly give a push to be the Big East Player of the Year and be a first-team All-American. He's averaging 10.8 points per game. And Smith, who has been a widely contributing player. He's at a number of spots. He's at 10.3 points, but he's also, 4 and change in rebounds, 4 and change in assists. He's been productive, but those two players collectively have not been near what I thought they would be from impact. RJ Lewis leads the team in scoring at 17.8 points per game. And then Zubi Ejiofor is having himself quite the season here at 14.5 points per game. And he does so many other things well. So collectively on balance, they are much better across the board than I thought they'd be. I thought they might be more led by Richmond and Smith. I mean, even like Simeon Wiltshire, who I thought would be better than he's been or more productive, he hasn't been that as well. So they're this at 16-3. What if they get even better? I certainly leave an opening to what you're putting on the table, Parrish. It's definitely possible St. John's can win the Big East, and what a story that would be. But even if that doesn't happen, and they're at worst 3rd in the league, and they are in that conversation for a 3, 4, 5, 6 seed at worst. Incredible gains in year 2 under Patino. What say you? And I don't know. I know you're probably not that surprised by it, but how do you think that Patino's been able to do this relatively quickly after narrowly missing the dance last season?
Well, I think there's maybe a broader story here and a lesson for the sport here. I, like you, don't know if they'll be able to finish the job, as they say, and actually win the Big East title. I'm not ruling it out. I just think it's interesting that it's January 21st and we're having this conversation, very reasonably so. The broader lesson here would be this, perhaps. St. John's has done nothing or very little of anything for a long time. They have not won a Big East regular season title since 1992. Again, that was my freshman year of high school. I just, like, with the Wikipedia, Billy Ray Cyrus had the #1 album in America for part of that year. I don't know if you saw any of the inauguration. He can't sing, and I'm not sure if he could back then, but like he surely can't anymore. It was rough. So that was a long time ago. So what happened? How did we get here? Like, if I were on radio in New York and they said, "How did we get here?" I said, "Well, you want the short answer or the long one?" "Short, buddy. It's radio." "Okay, here's the quick version." They hired one of the greatest basketball minds of all time, and they gave him millions of dollars to roster build with in this NIL era. Here we are. Is there a lesson there? Is this, oh, by the way, we are one day removed from Ohio State University spending the most money ever on a football team that's ever been spent, as far as we know, and they win the national championship. And here's St. John's the next day atop the Big East standings when they did what? What did they do? Did they build a new practice facility? Did they schedule aggressively? Did they hire a new associate athletic director? Sure, all this stuff can play a role. Here's what they did. It's two things. They hired one of the greatest basketball minds of all time, and they gave him millions of dollars to go out and buy a basketball team, to go out and buy other Big East teams' best players. They gave him the money to do it, and this is the byproduct of it. That alone won't guarantee this, but it is a great place to start. That's what St. John's did, and that's why we're watching what we're watching.
There's not that many greatest minds in basketball history available to be hired to coach your program, so there's obviously limited supply of that. St. John's got it done, and it worked out well. He was at Iona previously, but it is building to be quite an interesting story, and I can't wait to see how the Big East race, St. John's, Marquette, UConn, Georgetown's probably not going to be a tournament team, but they won at Villanova on Monday night. What teams become spoilers, become factors? Does Xavier get in the mix here and become a tournament level team or a bubble team? We talked about Creighton. I'm big on the Blue Jays turning it around and making sure they get into the dance there. But UConn going for the three-peat was the big story in the Big East entering the season. And it's still a story that's lingering out there. But right alongside that now has become the emergence of St. John's. And if you think it's big now, if this team is 24-6, like, it's going to be even bigger. In addition to Marquette, which has been a 2 seed level team and continuing to be that. It's not a super deep Big East. In fact, I can make the argument that the league has been a little bit of a letdown overall, but there's no shortage of storylines and still compelling coaches, players, and developments that are to come. And it's awesome. I'm always ready to see a team and a program, Parrish, that hasn't much mattered finally get back to the discussion. And in St. John's, we have that. And it seems like we're poised to be having this over the next 2 months.